But because of this, and this is, I think, particularly telling, it seems that the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, has just signed a decree granting vaccine makers total legal immunity from any lawsuits that result from any new swine flu vaccine. I hope that you understand what that implies here. Moreover, the $7 billion the U.S. government paid to fast-track the program to rush vaccines onto the market in time for the autumn flu season is being done without even normal safety testing. Is there another agenda at work in the official World Health Organization hysteria campaign to declare the so-called H1N1 virus, which has yet to be rigorously scientifically isolated, characterized, and photographed with an electron microscope, the scientifically accepted procedure? They're calling it a global pandemic threat. So, fear of history repeating itself. What happened in 1976 with this faulty vaccine was that people developed a disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which, to my understanding, has not occurred with any other flu vaccine to date, but it did occur with that one. And this is a vaccine which seems to affect the nervous system, especially peripheral nerves, the legs and arms. The polio vaccine does that also, and I remember being in a village in southern India when the medical authorities would send their jeeps out to give all the villagers a polio vaccine. And these simple people who lived in the village thought, well, this is Western culture coming to us, it must be good, let's go out and roll our sleeves up and let's get that polio vaccine happening right now. But while this was happening, some of them took me aside and said, yes, but there's always a percentage after they leave who get very sick and develop paralysis or some impairment in their arms or legs as a result of that vaccine. And indeed, I saw a young girl who had developed this a year previously, and the arm literally did not grow. This was an infant from age 1 to age 2. The arm did not grow along with the rest of the body. So this is part of what Guillain syndrome is. It can kill people, and it can assume a chronic state, and it can also be very temporary. And that is one fear that one would have with any vaccine. But as I said, it hasn't occurred with any flu vaccine to date. But it seems to have been something that did occur with the vaccine of 1976. So, in the words of the bard, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Now, we can get a lot of different experts from all over the world who have different opinions about this. This is a German doctor who said that the side effects of the vaccine can be far worse than the actual H1N1 flu virus, which typically causes mild symptoms requiring a few days in bed. This is basically what I've heard from people in Alabama and the Midwest, where the flu is much more prevalent in that part of the country, I'm told, than it is yet on the West Coast. This is a very mild form of the flu, and usually it's 3 or 4 days in bed, and then recovery is relatively speedy after that. Matter of fact, I heard of groups of students in Seattle who get together in groups called flu parties, so that they can catch the flu quickly and get it over with early on. And so not everybody is hysterical about this flu, and I'm not sure whether we need to do that, but certainly the government is very concerned about it, or we wouldn't have this vaccine looming over our heads. And in Alabama, speaking to an herbalist who was reporting what was going on there, schools were sometimes closed for a week at a time, and they gave up testing for the H1 H1N1 variety. It's a costly process. It takes a lot of time. And when people go to the medical doctor complaining of the flu, they just automatically give them the anti-flu drug of choice, which seems to be Tamiflu. This presents some real problems because that drug seems to be effective as an antiviral. Whether it is against this flu or not remains to be seen. But it is an effective antiviral. And there's a limited number of antivirals out there, and we've been warned that it's particularly dangerous if this flu happens to evolve and mutate to become impervious to it. And already there has been documented at least 24 people on a worldwide scale who have developed a form of this flu in which the antiviral seems to be, according to laboratory analysis, ineffective. We can't blame the medical doctors for this because, of course, people would feel very questionable about their doctor when they go there and they're scared of the flu. Of course, they want to have that drug which is being advertised, and that's what they're saying. The doctor himself is dealing with pressures of facing lawsuits if somebody actually develops something serious from it and dies, and he didn't give them the vaccine. So that's how it goes. You know, it's like hopefully a webinar like this that will be up as it's being recorded. It will be up on my website for a while for people to see. Will help more people to manage the flu more sanely and not have to resort to drugs and or vaccinations as a preferred method of treatment. The use of a homeopathic remedy, Thuja occidentalis, in low dose, which is 30x potency, has been considered since 1830 as a safe and effective remedy against adverse reactions to vaccines. And this was particularly found in 1830 when people were being inoculated for the smallpox vaccine, and homeopaths found that Thuja occidentalis in low dose seemed to have had a beneficial effect in preventing adverse reactions. And since then, homeopaths have claimed its benefit for that. I sometimes have questions about homeopathy, as I think many of us who are into medicine of substance might, because essentially homeopathy is basically the energy of a substance that supposedly is communicated to a neutral medium such as water or alcohol or something of that nature. So and it's supposed to trigger a reaction in our body that will help us to help our body to generate a reaction for healing. All I can say is that I have used Thuja occidentalis in a couple of cases where it seemed like it did seem to help an infant, for instance, who seemed to be suffering from some reaction not to the flu virus but to other vaccinations that were given, and it seemed like the next day the infant was feeling more comfortable and less weepy, and I've seen one other case in my own experience where this was effective. So it's worth a try.